How I stopped and reversed my hair loss. Chances are, if you've clicked on this video, you yourself are likely suffering from hair loss. But don't feel bad about it, it affects 70% of men. And there is nothing actually wrong with a bald man. There is, however, something wrong with a balding man. Since I got into this, I notice this everywhere, I'm sure you do. There are so many guys who are clinging on to the last few hair follicles that they have, hoping that people won't notice. And if you are one of those guys, let me tell you, people definitely do notice. From comb overs to sprayed on hair, it seems that people will do quite a lot to give the appearance that they still have some hair left. Let's rewind about 8 months ago, July 2022. This was when I first noticed my hair loss. Now, hair loss was never something I was ever worried about. I've always had a good hairline, and with the way that I wore my hair, I thought all was good. That wasn't until I actually checked my hair for the first time. And to be honest, I think this is how most guys find out that their hair is receding or they're starting to losing it, because one day they'll bend over in a bathroom with some downward lighting and they'll look up and go, fuck, why can I see my scalp? Why is there massive gaps in my hair? And this was the exact realization that I had. Ironically, around this time, I'd been watching Derek from More Plates, More Dates, and I watched all of his videos, even the ones that didn't apply to me. And one of these videos was about his hair loss protocol. And I remember funnily watching this going, haha, this will never be me. I've got such a good hairline, such thick hair. I will never need to worry about hair loss. Wow, was I wrong. So after watching this video, it was around this time that I went on holiday. I went to Marseille in France, and I was on the plane back home. And as you do on a plane when you're trying to kill time, you go to the toilet and you stare at yourself in the mirror. And I was looking at myself in the mirror, and there was this downward lighting on my head. And I was looking, going, is that my scalp? So what did I do? I took some photos. Fuck. Yes, that was my scalp. And then things clicked. I was actually suffering from hair loss. I then lifted my fringe up. Shit, I'm receding from the front as well. And this is not something I'd ever noticed before because I'd never checked. Because when you only ever see your hair from the front, if you wear your fringe down like I did, you will never think there's anything wrong. With me having blonde hair as well, it's not something I really noticed in the mirror anyway. When I was younger, I never thought I'd actually care about losing my hair because for most of my life, I've had a buzz cut. I've had very short hair anyway. So I didn't think that being bald would make a difference. And at that time when I was younger, I didn't care. But that was until I wasn't given a choice. So having watched Derek's videos, I knew what the hair loss protocol would consist of, and I knew what was needed, but I was very weary of this because it contained something called finasteride. Now, finasteride is a pill you take, which is the main thing that stops your hair loss. Now, if you don't know, the reason why men lose their hair is because men have DHT, which is a derivative of testosterone, which converts into DHT. And this then binds to the hair follicle, which does some stuff that I don't understand and makes your hair fall out. So some men are more susceptible to this. DHT is the same reason why you go through puberty as a man, same reason why you grow bodily and facial hair, but then after puberty, it's not as useful. So the idea is that you take a finasteride pill every day, it stops you from producing as much DHT. Your hair is able to grow back thicker, fuller. Your hair follicles are no longer being attacked every single day by DHT. And then you can use that in conjunction with other things, which will speed up the hair growth. Even though I know this stuff and I know how DHT works, I know about finasteride, minoxidil, derma rolling, not many guys are aware of this. Every guy that I speak to in the UK, they've not heard of this stuff. They don't know what DHT is, they don't know what finasteride is, they don't know what minoxidil is, which is weird because most men suffer from hair loss. There's only a very small percentage of men actually keep their hair throughout their life. Lucky bastard. So even though all these men are losing their hair, it's not something you really talk about. It seems to be men just get to a point where their hair is very thin and receding and they shave it off and that's that. And you hear older men talking about when I was younger, when I had a full head of hair and all this shit, but you can literally keep your hair. A hair transplant isn't the only option and isn't the only remedy to keeping your hair. And even though hair transplants are becoming more and more common and popular, people seem to want to opt for that rather than this. Take a pill, use some foam in your hair every day. It's as simple as that. So what was my actual routine that stopped my hair loss? And I will insert some pictures throughout this, wherever they're going to go, showing you the before and after. So my routine was very, very simple. One that was very easy to implement into my everyday life. Every day I took finasteride. One day I'd take 0.25 milligrams, the next day I'd take 0.5 and I would alternate like that. And then every evening before bed, I would put half a cup full of foam of the minoxidil on my head where I was losing hair, so here, and then the crowns here. And then once a week I derma roll, which is the needle thing, you go backwards and forwards. That was literally it. 8 months later, my hair is thicker and fuller than ever and looks fucking great. So, like I said, the finasteride is the thing that actually stops the hair loss and allows your hair to grow back thicker and fuller. And now minoxidil, this was originally used to treat blood pressure, and they found that a side effect of this was excessive hair growth wherever they product. So it's like a foam in a canister and you put it on your hair. Now, with these two things, they do come with side effects, well, possible side effects. For me, I didn't get any side effects from finasteride, which is the reason why I started on a low dose. I started on 0.25 and then went up to 0.5 and now I alternate them. I have a little pill cutter thing, so I put the pill in, chop it, take half, chop it, take a quarter the next day. And for me, that worked fine. I'd done some reading on forums like Reddit and found some guys that had plenty of success not having to use a milligram. So I didn't want to do that because the side effects are erectile dysfunction, depression, suicidal thoughts, all these things associated with low testosterone. But from my understanding, you only suffer these side effects if you have low testosterone, because the way that it works is your testosterone will then take the slack of the lost DHT. So okay, obviously if you have low testosterone, you're going to have low test, low DHT, and you're more likely to suffer the side effects. So if you are someone who's in bad shape, doesn't have a lot of muscle mass, has a pretty shit diet, generally doesn't look after himself, doesn't sleep well, etc., doesn't have a high libido, then you may want to be careful taking this because it's likely that you have low testosterone. And if you want to confirm that, you should probably get some bloods done before starting this, because there are some very, very rare side effects where some guys take finasteride and the side effects they get from this pill never go away. Now there's a name for it which I've forgotten, but basically imagine you got erectile dysfunction from taking this pill. That would never go away. So do your research before ordering and taking this pill. And minoxidil, I've been using minoxidil for years. I've used it on my face to grow my facial hair, which does work very well. The side effects that it can give you, it drops your blood pressure, so you can randomly feel dizzy. Sometimes you can get palpitations, which I was very susceptible to. So again, be aware of this, but the way to combat is just to slowly titrate up. So don't go in there using a full cap. Use like an eighth of a cap, then a quarter. Use like a 16th of a cap, then an eighth, and a quarter, then a half, and your body should be used to it, because it's just a case of getting yourself used to it. And now after you've started doing those two things, and by the way, you can take minoxidil twice a day if you'd like. That will speed things up even more, but I didn't want to use it more than twice a day because that is when you're more likely to get side effects, which I'd suffered in the past where I'd randomly go dizzy as fuck and very faint. It's the same feeling you get when you have too much caffeine, to describe it. So after you've done those two things, you just derma roll once a week. You start on 0.75 mils. Make sure you get a genuine derma roller with the titanium needles. The way to know is the fewer needles the better, basically. Those rollers that have a million needles, they're not genuine titanium needles. Those are the ones that'll fuck your head up. They're not going to do what they're meant to do. So I'll link them in my bio. Start on 0.75, use that for a few weeks, then you can go to 1 millimeter a few weeks, and then 1.5 or 1.25 if you like. And then so I'm pretty sure 1.75 is the longest you can use, having to go to a professional. And that is my hair loss journey. That's literally it. I know you were probably expecting some long drawn out story, but there really isn't that much to it. Depending on how far you were gone, you start implementing these things early as a preventative measure, and then 6 months to a year later, your hair's back. It's that easy. But again, do your own research. I recommend Derek from Open Dates, Andrew Huberman, these guys who understand biology and pharmacology way more than I do. I just take the information they give me and go, yeah, that sounds like it makes sense, and then go from there. And now, something to note, once you start, you can't stop. This is something you'll do for the rest of your life. As long as you want to maintain your hair, you will have to take these things, but I'm okay with that. I already have a daily skincare routine. I already wash my face every day. I brush my teeth every day. I know that seems silly to say that, but if you do those things, you can also do this. It takes literally 1 minute from my day to do, which is more than worth it to have my hair. So yeah, thanks for watching, and check out my other videos.